Hello and welcome to Cricbuzz as we review the second Women's T20 International between India and England. With the T20 series on the line for the home side, they needed to get up and about, and unfortunately that wasn't the case. Having been sent in, England dominated with the ball, dismissing India for a modest and paltry score of 80 runs. Despite the fact of losing 6 wickets in the chase, England were always in control as they won the second T20 International quite comfortably, winning the T20 International series as well. The game was won for England with the ball in hand. When Heather Knight won the toss and elected to bowl first, she would have been extremely happy with all of her bowlers because they all picked up wickets. There was a distinct plan for England, hone in on the stumps, and they were able to pick up 6 dismissals because of that, LBWs and 2 bowls. For India, the game was absolutely lost with the bat in hand. When you lose close to 5 wickets around the power play, it is extremely hard for any side to be able to post a decent total. And there seems to be a lack of intent. When Shafali Verma doesn't come off in the power play, it seems like the rest of the Indian batting lineup goes into their shell. They've got to play with freedom. Easier said than done, but it's something that India need to keep looking at and keep working on. It's kind of hard to pick that type of player simply because all bowlers contributed for England. But there is one player, Charlie Dean, who was actually player of the match. She came into the side, she was able to pick up both openers, both with quite clever bowling. She tends to have a bit of a scrambled seam, which means that every now and again it will hit the leather side and skid on. She was able to get Shafali Verma and Smriti Mandhana LBW. So she's a standout player, but I also want to mention Renuka Singh Kaur. And when you look at what she's been able to do in the first 2 T20 internationals, she's picked up 2 wickets apiece. All 4 wickets have been bowled. So it shows you that she's honing in on the stump, something that the rest of her teammates probably need to focus on. The lessons that India can learn from the second T20 international is that sometimes these games happen. You know, sometimes things don't quite go to your plan and you've just actually got to park it and move on. They don't have a lot of time to think about it, which is probably a good thing. But they need to play with some freedom. I mentioned that, and I know it's easier said than done, but they need to find ways of getting up and down the wicket, rotating the strike. Because once a few dot balls build, you can see that the big shot is coming. And that often hasn't worked for the Indian side. So if they can improve on that, and then from a bowling point of view, take a leaf out of Renuka Singh Kaur's book, Bowl at the Stumps. Bring them into play, bring in all modes of dismissal. It gives them every opportunity of creating more chances. Well, it's a quick turnaround for both teams. They haven't had too much time to think about the last game because they play tonight in the third T20 International. Whilst England have won the series, there is still so much to play for. Pride, like we always mention, but India will want to show what they're worth, and it comes mainly from a batting perspective. Play with that freedom, play with the fear of not getting out. We know in T20 cricket you're going to lose some wickets, but you've just still got to put some pressure on. And this England side is certainly building up nicely with the T20 World Cup coming up next year. Make sure you tune into Cricbuzz for all of the action and the review of the third T20 International.